What is happening at J Gaming Dude here, and I'm going to be talking about slime倒して300年しないうちにレベルマックスになってました. Or I've been killing slimes for 300 years and maxed out my level. So usually I don't like watching isekais because I don't think that isekais are particularly good in any way, shape or form. In fact, it's mostly just mostly just junk food. Now, I didn't know that the series was in fact a isekai until like the very beginning of the series and how everything started. Had the character actually been born within the world in which they live, we wouldn't have gotten something like then this thing wouldn't have been considered an isekai. It just takes place in a fantasy world, and that's about the size of it for the most part. That sort of beginning, sort of like 2 to 3 minutes of like the first episode could have just completely been removed in its entirety and just not have affected the plot at all in any way, shape or form. So I'm going to be judging it based on it not being an isekai, because I would then not say very good things about it because I don't like isekais. The show itself is okay, I guess. There isn't really much to say because, again, I watch a lot of like slice of life, people, living a very sort of slow life where things are just happening and they just kind of do things at their whimsy and all the rest of it. Here we have a main character who's been living for 300 years, killing slimes and ultimately just being an overpowered person by way of the passage of time. But beyond that, I'm sure there's a lot more interesting things that could have happened during that time besides that, because then you're unfortunately not writing a story about the most interesting part of a character's life, because that's usually what you would write a story about when you're making a story based around a single character. Anyway, I could just keep going on and on, but this is probably not going to help anyone. So essentially this kind of falls with our main character who has been killing slimes, is overpowered, accidentally runs into people because it sounds like, information about her being overleveled has gone out through like interesting ways where there's like, how do I even begin to explain it? So essentially the main character is like standing outside, at the counter of the guild, and then there's just some dude who's like, eavesdropping on everyone's conversations for some unknown yet ungodly reason, and then starts telling everyone after that conversation happens between the main character and the guild lady. And so now that kind of begins to disrupt her life ultimately, because she's like, I just want to live a slow life where I can just do whatever the hell I want, which is kill 25 slimes in order to make some money to then just to continue living. And then she gets into a fight with the dragon, gets into the demon world, gets somehow gets adoptive twin daughters for some reason, and just other junk happening in between. It's just dumb fun. And unfortunately, it's extremely forgettable. The character designs like the design for the main character is probably the most memorable one. Everyone else just kind of exists. Whether it be the ghosts, whether it be the leviathans, whether it be the dragons, whether it be the demons. Actually, you know what? Demon lady, looking good. Definitely great looking demon lady. But beyond that, like, the show is just way too damn forgettable in every sense of the word. I could probably remember like other slice of lives better than this one. Yeah, there's really much to say because there isn't much going on. There isn't much that can be said that's actually good, and there isn't a lack of anything to complain about. It's like this sort of black hole of mediocrity where it just kind of sucks everything in and just turns it into what everything else feels like, in terms of not even isekais, but just like slice of life shows or franchises. Yeah, you think that the slimes would have a much bigger emphasis on the actual series or franchise, but then you've got the slime isekai, which already completely owns that identity in and of itself, and it feels like slime isekai fanfic almost. That's what this series kind of feels like at the same way. I don't know, maybe I'm not the... Surely I can't be the only one that feels that way. Because originally I was just going to talk about it being like, it's pretty I think it's good, 7 out of 10. But now that I'm actually sitting down to talk about it, think about it, and actually like, digest it all, ultimately I think I might just give this a 5 out of 10. It's not good, it's not bad, it's not even okay. It just exists and continues to be whatever it is. Again, it's that sort of black hole of mediocrity of all things really starting to kind of, get in the way. So I think that's probably where I'll leave it. I'll probably just chuck it at a 5 out of 10 and just say that it's fine. Again, there's nothing noteworthy about this show. Either way, it just exists. Jesus, this is... Maybe I'm getting really, really jaded, but if I was, then I would find a lot more to complain about than just sitting here thinking about how I feel about things, even though I paid full attention to watching the show when it could have been no better than background noise while I'm, I don't know, grinding in an RPG. It really just doesn't... Nothing that happens, nor the characters that I met, could really have done anything. And I suppose when you think about demons and dark elves and things like that, they all usually have pretty dark skin anyways, with a usually pretty good looking figure drawn in for good measure and everything else in between. But it just doesn't... Even that is not really all that memorable either, so I don't even know what I'm thinking about nor going on about. So I think, yeah, I'm just going to chuck it at a 5 out of 10 and just leave it at that. But if you guys have seen this show, I mean, chuck your thoughts into the comments below what you thought of it. If you thought of it as good, be interested to know why. If you thought it was bad, besides being an isekai, I would like to also know why. Because again, I just can't seem to make an opinion out of something that just seems to take everything in and just give you a whole lot of nothing. I wish we had more non-beauty or something like that. Like, at least that is significantly more entertaining. I feel like slice of lives either need to lean into romance for drama, lean into comedy in order to try and be funny, and either succeed, in which case that makes it really good, or fail and makes it like everything else, or just some other thing. So I feel like slice of life just can't truly sit on its own. Maybe if I think of a couple examples, I should probably think, be able to think about why this isn't as good. Like ecchi franchises, for example, they have ecchi. That's something that makes them different enough from everything else. But I digress. Chuck into the comments below what your thoughts are about the show if you've seen it. I've been babbling on about a whole lot of nothing, so like this video if you liked it, and subscribe to the channel because I'm trying to aim for 100 subs, and I do want my videos to go out to more people. But with all that said and done, I do upload every day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.